Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your guy Rudy SKC, and welcome to a brand new video. If you guys can't tell by my voice that's kind of gone after the kind of recap slash rant that I just did with the Lions Commanders game, I'm not exactly happy right now. Not exactly happy, because today, probably one of the worst days in Detroit sports history, for a terrible sports weekend where the Lions lose one of the most important games in their franchise history. The Pistons lose an important game that, to me, could determine how their season is going to go, and the Red Wings lose a game against the Tampa Bay Lightning in a game where it felt like you just couldn't get anything going against Vasilevsky. And I know, as a Red Wings fan, whenever you go up against Vasilevsky, it feels like we just can't do anything. He's that great. And today was another example of it. And when you give up so many possessions in the defensive zone to the other team, when you have turnovers, these mental mistakes, that's what happens. So the Red Wings ended up losing as well. So it's been a terrible day. Okay, let me just get that out of the way. But this audience is not just Lions fans. We have a ton of Pistons fans here today, so we got to talk about the Pistons-Suns game. So the Pistons drop a game to the Phoenix Suns at LCA, 125-121. And to me, coming off the last game against the Pacers, where that was an important game, that was a super important game for seeding, and you didn't come out with the same energy that you needed. This game, it felt like in the first quarter, they tried to match the energy that you saw from the New York Knicks game. But the only thing that was missing from there is explosive scoring. And that was something that we didn't get all night. This is a very defensive game. Now, there are a couple things that were really good, right? In the first half, we'll get to Cade. Cade's defense on Kevin Durant in the first half, unbelievable. I mean, the way that he was guarding him on one-on-one post-ups, KD couldn't do anything. It felt like the only buckets that KD had in the first half were when we got switched on to someone smaller like a Malik Beasley, like a Tim Hardaway Jr. When Cade was on KD couldn't do anything. So, to me, that's a positive sign, right? Another positive sign, yet again, in a stretch at the end of the third quarter and to start the fourth quarter, Marcus Sasser and Ron Holland continue to step up. And to me, that's a good sign, not only for them in terms of their development, but what it means for the team. In terms of, when Cade comes out of the game, you know that if these guys can consistently deliver good, hard fought out minutes where Sasser, he has a great mid-range game. He's not just a good shooter. He has a great floater that he can operate with in the mid-range. And to me, for Marcus Sasser, that's something maybe he needs to even go to more often. The way he was seeing the game, he had a great assist to Isaiah. Well, it wasn't an assist to Isaiah Stewart, but it got Isaiah Stewart in a position where the only way they could stop him from scoring was to foul him. And then Ron Holland, he had a transition three. He was getting to the basket. He had some great minutes. He was playing great defense. Got some transition dunks. Great play by those two. So the defense by Cade in the first half, two of the major positive things. But to me, the Pistons lost this game, and yes, it's a close game, 4 points, right? We've been through close games the entire year. They suck. Live with them. That's a young team that's in the process of maturing. We talked about how progress is never linear, and the Pistons are going to have some setbacks, and this is one of them. There's three main reasons you lost this game, guys. And if you check on my Twitter page, RudySKC at Ani4Dubs, I tweeted this out right after the game. Three reasons you lost. Number one, Cade Cunningham had a pretty poor game shooting the ball. His shooting percentage, not there. His shots were just not falling. Like, you could tell that he was getting anywhere he wanted at will. This wasn't the Pacers game where they were playing really good defense on Cade. No, the Phoenix Suns, their defense on Cade was it's pretty standard stuff that Cade has seen all year. If you're asking me, pretty putrid defense, something that Cade should have been able to easily score over, but the shot just wasn't falling today. And we know that's going to happen. It's unreasonable of us to expect Cade to score 35 to 40 points and 10 assists every single game and drag the team back in every single fourth quarter. But to me, it really highlights that the Pistons have to make a move for another playmaker who can generate shots for the team and put them in good situations if they're serious about some kind of playoff run. If they're not serious, if JB Bickerstaff and Trajan Langdon, if they're not serious about any kind of playoff run, that's okay. That's fair, right? But if they're serious about a playoff run, they need to be able to do that. Even to be competitive in a singular playoff series, they need to be able to go out there and get a secondary playmaker. So when Cade is having these off games, which he's going to have to, He's going to have off games, guys. He's human. When he's having these off games, you have another option too, because today showed me Tobias Harris can't be that guy. He tried to be that guy today, and it didn't work out. He's not a creator, guys. He's not a creator. You can't just give the ball to Tobias and manufacture buckets. It's not going to work. I mean, Tobias, he's just not that player. And this year especially, he's not been that player. So to me, that's a big deal. When Cade, he still got his 20 and 10. But you saw what happened in the Battle of the Stars. You have Cade on one side, you have Booker and KD on the other side. And the matter of the fact is that Devin Booker in the first half, combined with Kevin Durant playing the second half, they outplayed together as a collective Cade in this game. And that's going to happen at times, right? You can't expect Cade to be Superman. So for me, biggest reason you lose this game is because you don't have the level of production from your superstar that you'd expect when he's getting quality looks, right? I mentioned this is not like the Pacers where he's getting double team, triple team. They're using their guile in the way that he's passing out of double teams, in the way that they're running off screens. No, Phoenix was not playing good defense on Cade. So to me, this game comes down to the fact that your superstar had an off night, their superstars did not. That's the first reason. Second reason to me was that the Pistons allowed way too many second chance opportunities in the second half. Now, the interesting thing to note is, yes, Phoenix out-rebounded Detroit 50-43. But if you look at the offensive rebounds, you'll actually see that Detroit got 15, whereas Phoenix only had 12. I would love to see the numbers on that in the second half, because to me, it felt like every time Kevin Durant or Devin Booker missed in that end of the third quarter stretch or to start the fourth quarter, Phoenix was able to get an offensive rebound or a tip out. And it's very frustrating because they got it exactly when they needed it, right? There are so many times you saw Kevin Durant basically was, I mean, when the guy gets hot, it's like deadlocks. It's over, right? But you saw so many times that Kevin Durant, he's hitting every single shot, but the one time he misses, Phoenix gets an opportunistic rebound. And to me, from that aspect, I don't think the Pistons were as physical as they needed to be down low. They were committing way too many resources to the perimeter, in my opinion. And I'll say this during today. To me, on the offensive side, great job by Durant. On the offensive glass, we played great. And a lot of that's because Cade missed a lot of shots, right? That's why we have a ton of offensive rebounds. You should not allow the other team to get 13 offensive rebounds. You're not going to win the game that way. And especially the Suns, where every time they get the ball back, the second chance points they had were, staggering. They were staggering. So for the Pistons, right, Jalen Duren on defense today, as good as he was on offense, the defense off the pick and roll today was terrible. The way he was guarding the screener, he was out of position every time, and that's why he got into foul trouble again and again. That's something he has to fix in his game, guys. That's just something that if he wants to be the center of this future long term, he's got to fix that. He's just got to fix that. So to me, that allowing that many second chance opportunities, not being a good defensive rebounding team today, that hurts you. Because despite out rebounding them on the offensive glass, you let them get so many more rebounds that they still out rebounded you 50-43. So tell me, think about that. Really think about that. That's where you lose the game. In possessions, we talked about this. 3 things you need to do to win basketball games. Don't turn the ball over. Shoot the 3-ball well. And rebound. And that's one of the things. The rebounding was a huge thing. The Pistons, you cannot be a team that lets yourself get out-rebounded. That's not how your team is constructed. You guys can't do that. And that's the second reason they lost. Third reason they lost, it's a very situational reason. In the fourth quarter, J.B. Bickerstaff, there's a stretch of about 3 minutes where J.B. Bickerstaff was trying to get Cade and Tobias and some other starters in the game, and he couldn't. He couldn't get in the game because there's no stoppage of play. In my opinion, this is a mistake on J.B. Bickerstaff. And as much as we've talked about how good of a coach J.B. Bickerstaff has been this entire year, that, in my opinion, was one of the few mistakes that he's made. I understand that, yes, you're looking for some kind of stoppage of play so you don't have to waste a timeout. Then you should waste a foul at least. To me, offensive possessions in the fourth quarter where you don't have Cade on the floor are missed opportunities. Because, yes, Cade's shot wasn't falling today. I get that. But he creates so much for the offense. So the more possessions you don't have out there, the bigger disadvantage. And by the time they got Cade back there, It was already it was already in like a 2 to 3 possession kind of game. And at that point, when Cade's shot is not falling, going to be very difficult to come back from. So again, JP Bickerstaff, he's been great all year. Situationally, that's something I would have liked to at least either tell his team to foul so he can get Cade back in the game, or call a timeout a little bit sooner than he did, right? Because he ended up having to waste the timeout. So those are the 3 things, guys. 3 reasons the Pistons lost. And to me, this makes the next game against Houston on Monday ever so important. Because you can't drop that game and go 0-3 now. You can't. Because this good stretch of basketball you're playing, this hit of a momentum is huge, especially when you're going into an all-star break. And especially against a team like Houston, all right? A similar team in a similar position as you. And on MLK Day, the NBA is going to be marketing that game as number 1 Cade Cunningham versus number 2 Jalen Green. For national audiences, that's going to be a huge game. For national audiences, that's a huge game to see what happens. So to me, the Pistons need to come out there and they need to show an intensity that they haven't done in the last 2 games. If they want to come out, they have to win the rebounding battle. They haven't been as good from the 3, but that'll come, right? That'll come. You have to make sure you don't turn the ball over, rebound well, and play good defense. And that's what the Pistons have to do if they want to be successful against that explosive Rockets team where Jalen Green has been going off recently. Last 2 weeks, he's been unstoppable, unbelievable. So Pistons, that's a big concern they need to address. You cannot drop 3 in a row, not at this stage, not after all this progress you've made. You can have setbacks, but a 3-game losing streak, 3-game losing streaks are very tough to come back. You see teams all the time, they have a really good stretch of basketball, and then they go back, right? They go back. And it's time for the Pistons. It's time for us as fans to find out, are the Pistons for real this year? Are they a team that has a chance of making a playoff run, right? Are they a team that has a chance of pushing a team to 6-7 games in the first round of the playoffs? Or are they a team that's just going to, maybe they'll hit the play-ins, and maybe they'll get eliminated, and they'll get swept or gentlemen swept in the playoff? To me, this next game against Houston, it's very important for the team, for their confidence going forward. So we'll see what happens there. My voice, guys, it's completely gone. So hopefully it's able to come back soon. But until then, I'll catch you guys Monday for Pistons Rockets on MLK Day. Peace.